Welcome to Unfiltered Reflections. I'm your host, Passion, and today we're exploring something that touches nearly every human life, yet often remains shrouded in unspoken truths and societal expectations: the enduring journey of long lasting marriage. It's a topic that, at its core, asks us to confront fundamental feelings, experiences, and struggles that unite us all, regardless of our differences. How does the institution of marriage, particularly its long term iterations, touch on these core aspects of being human? We're not just talking about the fairy tale here, folks. We're peeling back the layers, looking at the nuanced realities, the often overlooked sacrifices, and the profound emotional landscapes that unfold over decades of shared life. This isn't about judgment, it's about understanding, empathy, and perhaps a little bit of a wake up call. We're exploring the very essence of human connection, commitment, and the sometimes brutal honesty required to sustain something as complex and beautiful as a lifelong partnership. In today's episode, we will be exploring is the unspoken challenges and overlooked sacrifices within long-lasting marriages, particularly from a woman's perspective. We're questioning the true significance of the title of marriage and reflecting on the toll it can take on the feminine spirit when not approached with a balanced understanding of mutual sacrifice and well-being. This isn't just a niche topic. It relates to the fundamental aspects of the human experience because it speaks to our innate desire for connection, belonging, and partnership, as well as our simultaneous need for individual autonomy, self preservation, and personal growth. It's about the push and pull between us and me, the delicate dance of compromise, and the profound impact of societal narratives on our most intimate relationships. The emotions most likely to be evoked by this topic are a complex tapestry. There's the joy of deep companionship and shared history, the comfort of knowing someone intimately, the hope for a future together. But beneath that, often simmering, can be resentment over unacknowledged sacrifices, sadness for lost dreams or unfulfilled potentials, frustration with ingrained patterns, loneliness even within a partnership, and sometimes a quiet despair when one feels unheard or unseen. There's also love, profound and enduring, but often tested and reshaped by life's relentless currents. And for some, there's the quiet courage to continue, or the equally brave decision to reevaluate. Common experiences or challenges we can connect with the listener revolve around the universal human struggle for balance. How do we balance personal needs with the needs of a partnership? How do we navigate evolving identities within a fixed structure? How do we sustain passion and intimacy over time? How do we address unspoken expectations and societal pressures? Many can relate to the feeling of being unseen or unheard within a relationship, the quiet erosion of self, or the struggle to maintain individual vitality amidst the demands of family and partnership. The idea of enduring silently resonates deeply with many, particularly women, who often feel a societal pressure to prioritize others' needs above their own. Long-lasting marriage, when truly healthy and sustainable, is not a passive state, but an active, ongoing, and mutual act of sacrifice and intentional self-preservation. It requires both partners to willingly come to a metaphorical altar, not a place of beauty in the romanticized sense, but a sacred space of intentional, mutual surrender of individual desires for the greater good of the union. Crucially, this sacrifice must be balanced, understood, and reciprocated, or it risks becoming a one-sided burden that depletes one partner while enabling another. The true significance of the title of marriage lies not in its social status, but in the profound, active commitment it demands from both individuals to consistently nurture both the partnership and their individual well-being. Ask yourself, am I truly thriving within my partnership, or am I silently enduring? Am I sacrificing my own vitality for the sake of the title or societal expectations? Second, initiate open and vulnerable conversations with your partner about these unspoken challenges and overlooked sacrifices. This isn't about blame, but about understanding and growth. Third, prioritize your own well-being physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. This isn't selfish. It's essential for you to effectively fulfill any nurturing role within or outside of marriage. Remember, an empty cup cannot pour. Finally, seek balanced guidance and support, whether from therapists, mentors, or trusted friends, that challenges traditional narratives and encourages mutual responsibility and growth within relationships. Now let's peel back the layers. The societal expectations placed on women to endure silently prompt us to reconsider the value of the marital title when it comes at the expense of a woman's vitality. This isn't a new concept, but it's one that often gets glossed over in the wedding planning and honeymoon phases. We're told marriage is hard work, but rarely are we given the nuanced blueprint for how that work should be distributed, or what happens when one partner shoulders a disproportionate share. The core argument here revolves around the idea that women, who frequently voice their grievances, must prioritize their own well being to effectively fulfill their nurturing roles within the context of marriage. Think about it: if a woman is constantly depleted, running on fumes, feeling unseen or unappreciated, how can she genuinely contribute to the emotional richness of a partnership, let alone the nurturing of a family? It's like trying to run a marathon on an empty stomach. Eventually, you'll collapse. And the marriage, by extension, suffers. A recurring pattern is observed where men may continue a marriage, seemingly content while seeking fulfillment elsewhere. This isn't a blanket condemnation, but an observation of a phenomenon that leaves many women feeling bewildered and hurt. Why does this happen? Is it a lack of awareness, a different emotional vocabulary, or a societal conditioning that allows men to be less introspective about the emotional health of their relationships? This raises critical questions about the coaching and guidance directed at women and underscores the need for a more balanced approach to marital preparation. For too long, the narrative has often focused on how women can fix their marriages, how they can be more understanding, more patient, more forgiving. But what about the other side of the equation? What about the responsibility of men to engage emotionally, to understand their partner's needs, and to actively contribute to the emotional labor of the relationship? This isn't about blame, but about balance. It's about recognizing that a healthy partnership requires two whole individuals, not one constantly giving and the other passively receiving. Examining divorce statistics sheds light on prevalent issues within marriages, indicating a recurring cycle of multiple marriages and a lack of behavioral change among men transitioning from one marriage to the next. This isn't to say men are inherently flawed, but rather to highlight a systemic issue. If the same problems resurface in subsequent relationships, it suggests a deeper, unaddressed pattern. This prompts us to reconsider the efficacy of existing approaches to preparing individuals for marriage, emphasizing the importance of truth and discipleship in fostering healthy relationship dynamics. Are we truly preparing people for the realities of long-term commitment, or are we just selling them a dream? Are we teaching them the necessary skills for conflict resolution, emotional intelligence, and mutual growth? Or are we just focusing on the superficial aspects of partnership? At the heart of our message is the metaphorical concept of an altar, not a place of beauty in the traditional sense, but one of sacrifice. When we talk about coming to the altar in the context of marriage, we often think of the wedding ceremony, the vows, the celebration. But what if we reframed it? What if we understood that entering into marriage is akin to willingly coming to an altar, a space where both partners must be prepared to sacrifice for the greater good of the union? This isn't about martyrdom, it's about intentional mutual surrender. It's about recognizing that for a partnership to thrive, individual desires sometimes need to be tempered, refocused, or even set aside, not just by one person, but by both. This sacrificial mindset, the exploration argues, can prevent the premature demise of marriages and other aspects of life that suffer when individuals fail to crucify their own desires. Now, crucify your own desires might sound harsh, even religiously charged, but let's strip it back to its core meaning in this context. It's about letting go of immediate gratification, of rigid self-interest, of the my way or the highway mentality. It's about understanding that true partnership requires a willingness to adapt, to compromise, to prioritize the shared vision over individual whims. This doesn't mean erasing your identity or sacrificing your core values. Instead, it means consciously choosing to put the health and longevity of the relationship first. understanding that its well being ultimately contributes to your own. Think about it: if one person is constantly putting their own desires first, the relationship becomes a vehicle for their individual fulfillment, rather than a shared journey. This leads to imbalance, resentment, and eventually breakdown. The altar, therefore, becomes a symbol of mutual commitment to this deeper level of partnership. It's where both individuals lay down their independent agendas and pick up a shared one. This reflection calls for a reevaluation of societal expectations. We need to move beyond the idealized, often one sided narratives of marriage and embrace a more realistic, yet equally hopeful, understanding. It calls for a more balanced approach to coaching both genders. Men need to be coached on emotional intelligence, active listening, and the importance of contributing to the emotional labor of a partnership. Women need to be coached on setting boundaries, prioritizing their well being, and articulating their needs without guilt. It's about empowering both partners to show up fully and authentically. And finally, it calls for a deeper understanding of the sacrificial nature inherent in lasting marriages. This isn't a call to suffer in silence, but a call to conscious, mutual, and reciprocal sacrifice. It's about understanding that true love often involves giving, not just receiving, and that the strongest bonds are forged in the fires of shared challenges and mutual support. It serves as a thought-provoking exploration into the complexities of long marriages and the need for holistic preparation to ensure the vitality of both partners. Let's connect this back to our core question. What are the fundamental feelings, experiences, and struggles that unite us all, regardless of our differences? How does the topic of long-lasting marriage touch on these core aspects of being human? The human experience is fundamentally about connection and belonging. From the moment we're born, we seek attachment. Marriage, for many, is the ultimate expression of this desire for deep, enduring connection. It promises a partner in crime, a confidant, a safe harbor. But the struggle lies in maintaining that connection amidst the inevitable changes of life. We all face loss, grief, illness, career shifts, personal growth, and aging. How do two individuals who are constantly evolving maintain a unified front? This evokes feelings of vulnerability, the fear of being truly seen, truly known, and yet still accepted. It brings up hope, the belief that this person will always be there, a constant in a chaotic world. Another universal struggle is autonomy versus interdependence. We crave freedom, self-expression, and the pursuit of our individual dreams. Yet in a marriage, we are inextricably linked to another. The challenge is to find the sweet spot where individuality thrives within the framework of partnership. This can evoke feelings of frustration when individual desires clash with shared responsibilities, or joy when a partner supports your personal growth. It can also bring about resentment if one person feels their autonomy is constantly being stifled. The sacrificial altar concept isn't about losing yourself, but about making conscious choices to align your autonomy with the partnership's well-being, knowing that your partner is doing the same. We all experience the ebb and flow of emotions, the highs of passion and the lows of monotony. Marriage, over decades, forces us to confront this reality. The initial infatuation fades, replaced by a deeper, quieter love, or sometimes by indifference. The struggle is to keep the flame alive, to rediscover each other, to navigate periods of emotional distance. This brings forth feelings of nostalgia for earlier times, anxiety about the future of the relationship, and the profound satisfaction of overcoming challenges together. The unspoken challenges we discussed often stem from this emotional landscape: the fear of voicing needs, the struggle to articulate feelings, the quiet despair of feeling emotionally disconnected. Then there's the universal human need for purpose and meaning. For many, marriage becomes a significant source of this. Raising a family, building a life together, supporting each other's dreams, these shared endeavors can imbue life with profound meaning. But what happens when one partner feels their personal purpose is being overshadowed by the marital one, or when the shared purpose feels lost? This evokes feelings of fulfillment when things are aligned, and existential questioning when they are not. The concept of the altar of sacrifice directly addresses these universal struggles. It speaks to the fundamental human capacity for altruism, the ability to prioritize something beyond oneself. It acknowledges that true growth, both individual and collective, often comes through discomfort and letting go. It's about understanding that sometimes the greatest gains come from the hardest choices. This isn't about blind obedience or self abnegation. It's about conscious, intentional giving that is reciprocated and valued. Let's dive into some psychological and sociological insights here. The unspoken challenges often tie into gender roles and societal conditioning. Historically, women have been socialized to be caregivers, nurturers, and emotional anchors within relationships. This often means suppressing their own needs and desires to maintain harmony. Men, conversely, have often been socialized to be providers, problem solvers, and less emotionally expressive. This creates a dynamic where women might feel responsible for the emotional temperature of the marriage, while men might retreat into a more functional role, leading to emotional disconnect. The idea of men seeking fulfillment elsewhere, while seemingly content in the marriage, can be explained, in part, by this emotional division of labor. If their emotional needs are being met outside the primary relationship and the practical aspects of the marriage are stable, they may not perceive a problem. This isn't malicious, it's often a learned coping mechanism. The recurring divorce statistics and lack of behavioral change among men between marriages points to a fascinating sociological phenomenon: the second shift and emotional labor. Even in dual-income households, women often shoulder a disproportionate amount of domestic and emotional labor. If this pattern isn't addressed in the first marriage, it's likely to carry over into the next, because the underlying behavioral patterns and expectations haven't shifted. This highlights the need for premarital counseling and ongoing marital therapy that specifically addresses these ingrained gendered expectations and helps couples develop more equitable partnerships. It's not enough to love each other. You also need the skills to navigate the complexities of shared life. The altar of sacrifice can also be understood through the lens of attachment theory. Secure attachment in adulthood requires a balance of closeness and autonomy. If one partner is constantly sacrificing their needs, they may develop an insecure attachment style, anxious, preoccupied, or avoidant, dismissing, leading to resentment or withdrawal. The crucifying of desires should ideally lead to a more secure attachment, where both partners feel safe enough to be vulnerable, to express needs, and to trust that their partner will reciprocate the effort and sacrifice. It's about moving from a place of individualistic desire without losing the I. Let's consider the anticipation factor. We've touched on the emotional complexities and societal influences. But what about the future? As we move forward, how can we redefine long-lasting marriage to be a source of mutual vitality rather than silent endurance? What if we shifted the narrative from enduring to evolving? What new models of partnership are emerging that prioritize individual well-being alongside shared commitment? The next frontier in understanding long-term relationships isn't just about problem solving. It's about proactive growth and continuous rediscovery, encouraging reflection. As you listen, I want you to ask yourself, what am I truly sacrificing in my most important relationships? Is it a mutual sacrifice, or is the burden unevenly distributed? What desires, big or small, have I crucified for the sake of my partnership, and have they led to growth or resentment? What conversations have I avoided because they feel too difficult or too vulnerable? And crucially, what is one small step I can take this week to bring more balance, more honesty, and more mutual vitality into my relationship? The sacrifice audit. Sit down, alone or with your partner, and honestly list the things you feel you've sacrificed for the relationship. Then, discuss these with your partner. The goal isn't to assign blame, but to acknowledge and understand each other's perspectives. This can reveal unspoken resentments or unrecognized efforts. Scheduled check-ins. Beyond casual conversation, schedule regular weekly or bi-weekly relationship check-ins. This is a dedicated time to discuss needs, challenges, joys, and future aspirations. Use active listening. Focus on understanding, not just responding. Prioritize me time. Consciously schedule and protect time for your individual hobbies, friendships, and self-care. This is crucial for maintaining your vitality and bringing your best self back to the relationship. Encourage your partner to do the same. Learn a new communication skill, whether it's I statements, reflective listening, or conflict resolution techniques, actively seek out resources to improve your communication. Many books, workshops, and therapists offer practical tools. Revisit your why. Why did you choose this partnership? What are your shared values and long term goals? Periodically revisiting your foundational why can help recenter the relationship during challenging times and remind you of the shared purpose. Seek professional guidance early. Don't wait until the marriage is on the brink. Consider couples therapy or coaching as a proactive tool for growth and skill building, even when things are good. It's like preventative medicine for your relationship. The journey of long lasting marriage is undoubtedly a significant endeavor. It's a testament to human resilience, adaptability, and the profound capacity for love. But it's also a mirror reflecting our deepest insecurities, our learned behaviors, and the often unseen weight of societal expectations. By openly discussing the unspoken challenges and acknowledging the overlooked sacrifices, we can begin to build bridges of understanding, foster deeper empathy, and empower individuals to cultivate partnerships that are not just enduring, but truly vital and mutually fulfilling. It's about moving from simply making it work to truly making it thrive for both partners. It's a call to conscious, active, and balanced partnership where the altar is a place of mutual growth, not one-sided depletion. If you'd enjoyed this episode, please visit our website at deszicakes.com. There you'll find show notes, resources, and ways to connect with us. Thanks for joining me on Unfiltered Reflection. Until next time, be kind to yourself, keep exploring, and remember, you are worthy, you are seen, and you are loved.